Hey, look at you. You made your way back to Dim Trixels, hosted by me, Greg. Thanks for stopping by. Today, we'll be taking a look at a game released all the way back in 1990, before some of you were born. This was an Atari Lynx game, and a pretty good one in my opinion, and a title in a very popular series. No need to bury the lead any further, this is Gauntlet, the Third Encounter. Sure, it's not strictly a sequel to Gauntlet 2, it wasn't initially intended to be even a part of the Gauntlet series. In fact, it was merely going to be a clone. The original working title was apparently Time Quests and Treasure Chests, but Atari switched the name when they snagged the console rights. Not long after, a true Gauntlet 3 was released on home PCs, including the Amiga. Still, all of that said, Gauntlet, the Third Encounter, is probably the Gauntlet game I've played the most, and it's one I have the fondest memories of playing. First things first, I love the Atari Lynx. I love Atari, really. At least I used to back in the day, so you'll probably find I look at Lynx games in a relatively positive light, possibly more than others might. But the truth is, there really were some great games on that not-so-little platform, and Gauntlet, the Third Encounter, is definitely one of them. You see, when I was a young'un, I had a Lynx, and I had this very game, and I played it quite a lot. But it has been probably 30 years since I played it last. Anyway, Gauntlet, the Third Encounter. It's similar to Gauntlet, but it's not quite Gauntlet. The developers changed things up by including an inventory, a larger list of playable characters, spell scrolls, and by omitting certain other things such as enemy generators. This is only a small thing, but it very much impacts the way the game feels. And I've got to say, although it looks and plays like Gauntlet, it's things like that that make it feel slightly off. The maps, of which there are 40, are simple and static, but still manage to be quite fun. This might be due to the small screen, which at times can also be a bit of a pain in the ass, but the devs included a far-see scroll, which allows you to exit your body for a short time to check the map out in a little more detail. It's a nice little addition. As I mentioned earlier, I played a hell of a lot of this game in my childhood, but I can't quite recall how far I got or what my objective was. From memory, I played simply because it was fun and I had nothing else to do. The good news is, it is quite fun, and the objective is simple: play through the 40 levels. However, it's not easy to do, as your life actually drops slowly over time, which is a pain in the ass, and you can only get life back by eating food, which is just not enough of. On top of that, although there is a revive scroll, it can only be used in multiplayer. And I don't know anyone else that has a Lynx, let alone a copy of the game. I do have 2 Lynxes now, but even if I had 2 copies of the game, I still wouldn't be able to play because I don't have a link cable. So yeah, long story short, there's no way of reviving yourself if you die, and you'll probably always play solo, and that kind of sucks a bit. And to be honest, if you want to finish it, this is a game you need to play a lot of in order to learn the levels. Check out the second level, for example. It's a wide open level, but the exit is blocked by a bunch of doors, so you'll spend an inordinate amount of time running around trying to find all the keys. The size of your inventory will slow you down, as will collecting other items such as gold and scrolls and so on. If you want to get through quickly, you basically need to know where all the keys are and have room for them all right from the start. And why would you want to get through quickly? Well, you need to have enough life to get through more of the levels that follow. It's quite easy to use up almost all of your life on level 2, especially the first time you play. The fact there are many characters to choose from is pretty awesome, let's face it. This was a tiny little Lynx game and probably could have gotten away with just the 4 standard Gauntlet characters, but adding more does improve replayability, because they really do play differently. Each comes with pretty simple stats: speed, strength, and missile. Speed is your movement speed, of course. Missile reflects your weapon damage and strength. Well, it actually took me a while to figure out as I don't have the manual, but this reflects how much damage you take from enemies and also the size of your inventory. So in a way, all 3 aspects are key to your progression. And interestingly, there's no perfect character. The samurai probably comes closest in my opinion, but there are plenty of duds. The nerd, for example, is just terrible, as is the pirate and the punk, but they do make fun challenge attempts. The android is slow but really tough. The wizard has strong attacks but is physically weak. And the Valkyrie is fast, but her attacks are weak. I was surprised to find how differently each plays. I did play for a full hour, and in the past I've played many more hours over and over again, but I never got anywhere near the end. Thankfully, there is a way to change levels at the start of the game. By holding the option button as the first level loads, you can only select to start on level 1, 5, 10, 15 or 20, but it is better than nothing. Honestly, I doubt I've ever gotten as far as level 10 on my own, so it was a bit of a godsend to be able to load in at a later level. As I said, it's not quite Gauntlet, but it feels like Gauntlet. And it's incredibly fun, and at the time, it was an absolutely awesome game to play on the go, and it still is fun to play. That said, after release, it was kind of forgotten. Several more Gauntlet games released after which all were based on Gauntlet 1 and 2, and the third encounter is effectively just an oddity, really. It received mixed reviews at the time, with many criticising the static and repetitive nature of the game, along with the annoyingly repetitive music. Given the nature of the device it was released on, this may be overly harsh criticism, but it's not to say it wasn't accurate. Anyway, if this isn't evident to you by now, to me, this is a game you should definitely try if you have the means. It was never ported or remade. It's not even available on the Atari 50 collection, probably due to licensing issues. So the only way you can play this is on original hardware or via emulation. But if you like this kind of game, or even you're just after some quick action to break the monotony of a dull day, Gauntlet: The Third Encounter is a fun but flawed retro Lynx game. Thanks as always for checking out my videos. Hopefully you'll come back for more. We'll see you next time. Let's play all the games.